Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Wendy Griffith. Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meeting again with President Trump in Washington, talking about a possible ceasefire in the war in Gaza, even as Israel keeps up its strikes against Hamas. We'll talk with CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell. Search and recovery efforts still underway in Texas as the death toll from those catastrophic floods now well over 100 and still climbing. We'll bring you a report from the scene on this tragic disaster. President Trump losing his patience with Russian leader Vladimir Putin over the war in Ukraine. Now Trump is planning to send more weapons to help the Ukrainians protect themselves. And from the world of entertainment, our Studio 5 interview with a woman who's living her dream to write music and sing. These stories and much more today on NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
And we begin with the ceasefire talks for the war in Gaza as Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump meet in a closed-door session. Those talks taking place as Israel is keeping up its attacks on Hamas. Chuck Holton has our report.
Prime Minister Netanyahu met with President Trump at the White House Tuesday night. The focus, the return of hostages in Gaza.
We have still to finish the job in Gaza, release all our hostages, eliminate and destroy Hamas's military and governance capabilities, because Gaza must have a different future for our sake, for everyone's sake.
He also pointed to recent joint U.S.-Israel strikes on Iranian targets, calling them a turning point for the region.
First comes strength, then comes the peace. Our resolute action, the resolute decision of President Trump to act with us against those who seek to destroy Israel and threaten the peace of the world has made a remarkable change in the Middle East.
Meanwhile, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation continues its large-scale effort to feed civilians inside the war zone. The group was launched in February to counter widespread food shortages after Hamas hijacked and resold international aid to finance its war effort. Other efforts, such as the U.S.-backed floating pier, largely failed. The GHF, largely funded by the U.S. and backed by Israel, is operating despite opposition from the United Nations, which has made allegations that the IDF killed civilians seeking aid. An IDF investigation found one civilian was accidentally killed while troops were trying to control a chaotic crowds that are frequently infiltrated by Hamas operatives. Over the weekend, terrorists threw grenades at a food distribution center, injuring 2 American aid workers. Despite the dangers, GHF has successfully distributed more than 65 million meals to Gaza civilians so far. As political pressure and battlefield costs converge, the focus is now on Washington and Doha to see whether diplomacy can deliver what everyone hopes for: a lasting resolution. From Jerusalem, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Thank you, Chuck. And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is with us now here again in the studio. Yeah. It's so good to see you, Chris. Well, Chris, let's get right into it. Is Hamas trying to intimidate Palestinians from using the food from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the GHF? And does Hamas see the GHF as a threat?
Yeah, very much, Wendy. Since the very beginning of the war, and when humanitarian aid was going in, sometimes by the hundreds of truckloads and literally hundreds and thousands of tons of food, they have been stealing that food and using it for their own purposes. First of all, sometimes they stockpile it, and they have been using it for their own fighters, and they've been using it as a way to control the population. So now the GHF has come in since February, and we were there at the very beginning with a news conference with Ambassador Mike Huckabee. Personally, when I heard the news of this new foundation, I wasn't sure of the impact, but it's really had a profound impact on what's going on in Gaza. So now Hamas has an alternative, or the people of Gaza have an alternative food source away from Hamas. So this undermines Hamas's ability to control the population, to sell the food, to make more money. And now, so the GHF is really a mortal threat to Hamas's control over the Gaza Strip.
So why is the UN against the GHF? You'd think they would be great. You feel great about feeding people.
Exactly. You would think that would be exactly what they want. But it also undermines their authority. It's UNRWA and other UN organizations that tragically we have found since October 7th have been in cahoots with Hamas, that many of the UNRWA employees have actually been part of Hamas. So it seems to undermine their ability to control the population and to have their say. So it undermines their authority as well.
Chris, Netanyahu says Israel must finish the job against Hamas. How can that be reconciled with an attempt at a temporary ceasefire?
Well, because Hamas, it's very hard to reconcile that, because what Hamas wants is they want an end to the war. They want a permanent ceasefire. They want to survive the war. And those goes exactly diametrically opposed to what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just said in Chuck's report, that they want to make sure that Hamas is defeated militarily, and they want to make sure that Hamas never has the ability to govern the Gaza Strip anymore. And so what we're seeing now is a very difficult time to reconcile these two opposite positions. It's a very hard time for Steve Witkoff to square the circle, as some people say, to make sure that the ceasefire can be achieved so some of these hostages can be released, but that Israel can still continue its goals of the war.
And with Iran weakened now because of the 12-day war, this has to affect Hamas and their ability to keep doing what they've been doing.
Right. So since the beginning of October 7th, when Hamas had this quote-unquote victory, and this is exactly what Iran had been working on for years, to build this ring of fire around Israel and Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and some militias in Iraq and Syria. And since a year and a half now, this all has been dismantled, and Iran itself is so weakened right now. And so it undermines their ability to fund and support Hamas as well.
So if we get a ceasefire, what's it going to look like?
Well, we don't know exactly. I mean, Israel has their version of what a ceasefire looks like. It would be hostages released, some of the deceased released, some of the living released, and a temporary ceasefire. For Hamas, it would look like, the end of the hostilities and they remaining in power. Wendy, I was just reading this morning about a report that says that part of the Gaza Strip from the Philadelphia corridor, which means the Egyptian-Gazan border, up to this new corridor that they have established, is all controlled by Israel. And actually, there are some people in Gaza living there from the freedom of Hamas. And this is one of the sticking points in a possible ceasefire. Israel wants to control this. They've paid for it in treasure and blood, and they want to make sure that they maintain control over this area of the Gaza Strip.
And even as Benjamin Netanyahu is here in the U.S. having talks with President Trump, the war in Israel is still going on. What is the latest on Israel's progress against Hamas? Well,
right now in Gideon's chariots, which started a couple of months ago, this new policy of the IDF not to just go in to have a special operations raid, take over land, but withdraw. They have taken over now about 80% of the Gaza Strip. So the progress is going well for the IDF, and it's very telling that President Trump seems to be giving some leeway to Benjamin Netanyahu to continue to prosecute the war as he has. President Trump was hoping that the ceasefire would be in by the end of the week. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Yeah, they seem to work so well together, though.
It's it's incredible, partnership between the two. And I think as Prime Minister Netanyahu said, unmatched in any relationship between an Israeli Prime Minister and a U.S. President. And it bodes well, I think, for both nations. All right.
Well, I know you're going to be going back to Jerusalem soon, but please come back and visit us more often. It's such a thrill to have you here in the studio. Of course, always love interviewing you when you're in Jerusalem and seeing the palm trees blowing behind you. And it looks amazing. But you're definitely in your element there. But we're so happy to have you here,
It's great to be here.
Well, here at home, the numbers continue to climb in the aftermath of the deadly July 4th flood in Texas, with well over 100 dead and 160 still missing. CBN's Paul Petit is on the ground in Kerr County, Texas, following the ongoing effort to find the lost and clean up the massive damage.
Now in recovery mode, Texas search teams scour flood-ravaged Kerr County, where young girls from Camp Mystic remain missing. Here at this devastated RV resort, volunteers showed up en masse to help clean up.
It's this community. We used to live in Canyon Lake, and here I go already. We have a daughter, and so this really hit our hearts deeply. And sorry.
Her husband Caleb used to live here on the banks of the Guadalupe River. He couldn't believe what he saw.
Nobody had a chance. It was moving so quickly, and
it was so dark.
My heart goes out to the people that lost their lives, that lost their homes, their campers.
This time-lapse video shows just how quickly floodwaters rose on July 4th.
It was doing at least 5 feet every second.
David Chambers owns this RV resort. There's nothing left. He recorded this video as it flooded.
And I had a cabin over there, everything. We watched it go down the river.
Experts say at the height of the flood, the Guadalupe River behind me was rising at a rate of 26 feet in 45 minutes, leaving little, if any, time for anyone to react.
And this is what Agent Orange did in Vietnam. Defoliate. That's exactly how Vietnam, when they went into the jungles and defoliated. This is what reminds me of that.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott came to Kerrville Tuesday, promising efforts will not stop until each missing person is accounted for, and also sparring with a reporter.
You ask, I'm going to use your words. Who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers.
Texas resolve is on full display here. Operation Blessing is also on the ground in Kerr County.
We're partnering with a local church right now. We're making 200 meals per course, 200 lunches, 200 dinners that are going straight to the front lines with the first responders.
Operation Blessing and many of these volunteers plan to be here for the long haul, motivated by love in the midst of the grief.
We have prayer teams all the way from Alaska, where my sister lives, all the way in Colorado, all over Texas. I mean, we've prayed, and our little 3-year-old has prayed for everyone multiple times.
In Kerr County, Texas, Paul Petit, CBN News.
God bless him. Thanks, Paul. And if you would like to help Operation Blessing's disaster relief efforts in Texas, just go online right now to ob.org to find out how you can donate. Well, coming up, Russia launching another record drone attack against Ukraine. That strike coming as tensions rising between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. We'll look at what the president plans to do, including sending more weapons to Ukraine, when we come back. Tensions are rising between President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin. Trump is increasingly frustrated with the war in Ukraine, and he's no longer holding back, publicly venting his anger and signaling a tougher stance. George Thomas has details.
At a cabinet meeting Tuesday, the president said he's tried to play nice in negotiations with Russian leader Vladimir Putin, but so far without success. Now he's showing more frustration than usual with Putin.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
The U.S. plans to send more weapons to Ukraine just days after pausing critical deliveries meant to help Kyiv defend itself.
We want to put defensive weapons because Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people.
Trump also said he's reviewing a new sanctions bill that would slap a 500% tariff on imports from any country that buys Russian uranium, gas, or oil. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham called out countries like China and India that still buy Russian energy. Posting on X, Graham said, when it comes to Putin and those who support his war machine, it is time to change the game. Overnight, Russia launched its biggest drone attack since the war began, a record 728 drones and 13 missiles targeting 11 regions across Ukraine. Most of those drones, called Shaheds, are made in Iran, using critical components sourced from China. Ukraine's president is now openly accusing Beijing of helping fuel the war.
We have a package of sanctions against companies from China that, unfortunately, supply components for Russia's weapons production, particularly the Shaheds. There is clear evidence of this. The details are found in the debris of downed Shaheds.
Moscow has also stepped up long-range attacks on Ukrainian cities, including a July 4th barrage that sent hundreds of drones toward Kyiv, injuring more than 24 people. All this as Russia has reportedly amassed some 50,000 troops around Sumy in northeast Ukraine for a possible summer offensive. George Thomas, CBN News.
Thank you, George. Still ahead, turning to the world of entertainment. Our Studio 5 interview with a woman who's living her lifelong dream to sing and write music. We'll hear from her next. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Recording artist Feroza is fulfilling a dream to sing and write music. In her debut EP, she recently visited Studio 5 with this preview.
You know that I'm still hurting. I know that you're still hurt. Push it down tonight. You push it down at night.
The name Feroza is actually my great-grandma's middle name. She would walk up the stairs and thank God for every single step. And so I just think that's really special. When I hear my name, I think of her, and I think to stay grateful for every little thing.
When I started to feel again.
The journey to get here, honestly, I came from a very non-musical family. I started writing songs when my dad gave me a guitar and piano for Christmas back when I was in middle school. And I started writing songs then. I wrote my first song for my friend at the time. And then it kind of just became a way of me processing and kind of like my diary, but in songs. Then I started joining praise team or like a worship team at church. And things kept progressing from there. And I found out that I loved it. I ignited a passion for music in my heart. And I just kept following the dream until here I am now.
Every pain we keep on feeling, we can leave it all behind. Run with me tonight. Run with me tonight.
The beautiful thing about this EP is that it goes through all of my childhood, right? And so I was born in a Christian family, so that was from the beginning. In Backstory, you can hear a voice memo of my mom praying over my journey and my career. And I think it's the most beautiful memo. I'm so glad I included it in Backstory. And then the next song kind of jumps into some struggles that I had growing up. It goes through all the struggles in between the start of my journey, being grounded in Christ, and then the very end of it, which is my redemption. It was hard, I'm not gonna lie. It was hard to open up and be personal about things that obviously I wanted those personal things to me to be conveyed in the album, but it was hard to open up sometimes. I cried a lot in the studio. I'll be plain about that. I cried a lot, but I'm really, really proud with how vulnerable these songs ended up. I feel like vulnerability is my strength, and if I'm able to tell songs that people can relate to, that people like don't necessarily want to open up themselves about, then I feel like that can be our connecting point. I had one specific moment that I gave up completely, and I was like, I don't even know if this is for me. I had a few things fall through, and so I was a bit discouraged. But Alan was my guitar teacher. Alan, my producer, was my guitar teacher at my high school, and so I decided to take guitar lessons with him. And he said, oh, so you want to be a songwriter? And I said, yeah, I mean, that's actually my dream. And he said, well, why don't we just start recording an album? Which shocked me that that opportunity just fell on my lap. That was number one, how God showed up in my deepest, discouraged moment. God worked everything out for me when I couldn't. Like, I was at the moment that I was on my knees surrendering, like, God, please help me. I have nowhere else to go with this. I have no direction anymore. I don't even know if this is for me. That's when he opened the next door for me and laid that opportunity on my lap. The biggest thing is that God kept me on this path. I will say that over and over again, is that so many times I tried to divert off the path, like, I don't know if this is for me, like, out of my own fear and out of my own self-doubt, but he kept encouraging me, and like in one of my songs, the lyric says, you were the wind in my sails before I felt you, basically. And so God kept pushing me along this path even when I didn't believe in myself. I know that what I went through isn't a unique experience. It's unique to me, meaning that it's the story that I went through and nobody else is gonna have the same story as me. But I know that the feelings that I had are universal feelings that people have gone through. And I really want people to know that I found a hope at the end of the day, and I've been saved, and that's the biggest ministry that I want my album to portray.
Wow, beautiful voice, beautiful message. And for more on Feroza, check out her website, ferozamusic.com. And join us tonight for an all-new edition of Studio 5. We sit down for a one-on-one conversation with singer and songwriter Casey J. She's celebrating a milestone year for her music career and sharing new music. And you can catch the new episode of Studio 5 on the CBN News Channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also watch on the CBN News app or on YouTube. And coming up, a historic river once again opened for the public to go swimming. We'll bring you that story from Paris when we come back.
Introducing a brand new way to start your morning. Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Plus, get exclusive stories and daily scripture encouragement just for you. Stay informed. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today. Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel Live. CBN News. Because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
For the first time in over a century, people who live in Paris, along with tourists, will be able to take a refreshing dip in the River Seine. The long polluted waterway is finally opened as a spot for a summertime swim after a $1.5 billion cleanup project that made it suitable for Olympic competitions last year. Swimming locations will be open for free at scheduled times, and lifeguards will keep a watchful eye on those first dips. Way to go, Paris. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find out more of our news programs, or see them rather, on the CBN News Channel anytime or online with cbnnews.com. Also, let us know what you think about the stories you've seen today. You can email us at newswatch@cbn.com or reach out on Facebook, Instagram, or X. We hope you'll join us next time. From all of us here, have a great day and God bless you.